Are going to get started as people come into the room, but we're going to have Yarna begin for us all.
Yes, if you can't see me, don't worry. It's just a technical issue, but that's okay. So first, I want to welcome you, and we start by reading a special message that Roger wants me to read, or Wilhelm wants me to read, and it's called You're Being Prepared. You are being prepared. Attempt to hold that idea in your consciousness as you think about your life so far. When you approach it in this manner, the events, circumstances, and experiences you have had begin to make sense. This process then is far different than you judging yourself for what you have done or not done in your life, or thinking something has gone wrong. Nothing ever goes wrong. It is that you only come to understand this later. The reason you were being prepared is so that you would accept your greatness. Truly, Wilhelm. So, accepting greatness. Let's close our eyes. Close your eyes. Connect to your breath. Breathe in greatness. Exhale excitement. Neutralizing. Calming down. Taking one deep breath through the nose. Exhaling it slowly through the mouth. Feeling how the body and system relaxes. And connecting to the heart. Connecting to your heart. And to the hearts of all others here. Send some love to Roger. Let's all connect to Roger's heart and send some love.
Thank you so much, and we're ready to begin. We had Yarna read that message to you that we gave you in 2018 because we wanted you to understand that today we are unveiling your path. That is why you are alive now. And we knew that you would be worried. That's why you're looking at your world and your lives and you're thinking everything is going crazy. And we're saying, no, that isn't happening. You exist now to help create this wonderful new world that you all will create when you decide to love who you are. Now, we're saying this because we've given you all of this information and we wanted to lay it out so you would understand how you evolve in your consciousness as an individual and also as a society. The events occurring in your world now are not accidental. They were coming up because, as we've said, you're moving through a restructuring. That means that the way your world was operating before was not serving you all really well, which is why you're seeing wars and you're seeing division and anger and hatred and all of those things. And we've given you a pathway to move through that. And we've said it before, and we said it last time that we gave you this session. We said that we have given you everything to heal your life and your world. The only thing is you don't believe that's possible. That's all of you. Because if you had believed it was possible, your world would look different. Your lives would be very different. You would have everything that you wanted. None of you have done that because it's all about energy. And the energy comes when you decide to love who you are. And that's a process. It's your ascension process as you move through all the old stuff that you've carried with you or that you've brought in from your ancestors from generations. As we've said, this is a generational shift. And the message that we had on the site, on our site, Any Advice for Today last year, which you saw part of it there, was that you didn't need to worry because we have given you everything because everything exists in your consciousness. And if you uplevel your consciousness, you start having everything that you want and you start to heal. You just didn't believe us. Our messenger didn't believe us either until we told you last a few weeks ago where he's healed everything. The work that we have given him, and we're going to say this because this is the last time we'll probably put it out and say it in this way because we need to make changes. Because see, the evolution of your world depends on the movement that you each decide to make, meaning moving to the next level, highest level of who you're meant to become. That's each of you. It's very individual, but it is a process. And we have given you the work, which we called it an ascension guide, for this time in your world. We came to uplift your collective society. That's what this work is about. And the way that you do that is you start moving through your anger, your hatred, your all these things that you thought that you inherited, you brought in. When you get rid of those, guess what happens? You become happy. You move to that fifth dimensional thinking and you start seeing things in a different way. And then the other magical thing that begins to happen is that you begin to heal physically. The work that we have given you gives you the ability to heal your bodies, physically heal you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of that, because we are connected to the collective of which you all are. We just help you remember that. And if you looked at the message that we had on the site last year, where we said, you didn't need to worry. You'll see that we had another session there that we did where we said the same things, but sometimes it takes a while for you to hear it. When you understand how your human brains work and how you evolve, this will make sense. You have We've spoken often about your neuroscience because when you understand that you experience yourself in your consciousness, but you have different evolutionary paths that you each have taken that are filled with blockages and restrictions and judgments and all the lower vibrational things. And we said that they would all come up now and that you would be a little nervous, but you didn't have to be. That's why we didn't want you to worry because we've given you everything. The only thing we couldn't do is cause you to believe. And we couldn't even cause our messenger to believe because it was so shocking to him what's happened. And we're saying this because we're making these changes today. We want you to understand. And we even said this yesterday where he looked at Easter and he says, wait a minute, I'm walking better than I have in 30 years. How is that possible? Someone who's gone through every human condition and difficulty and tragedy that many of you have experienced or are experiencing now. And we're saying you can change them. And you change those when you understand who you are. And it's a journey into who you are meant to become. You each have this plan. You each were given something at birth that just unfolds as you live. What happens, however, is sometimes you get stuck. You get stuck in your individual consciousness and the consciousness of your collective society. There's no reason why you should be killing one another or having wars and having guns in the United States where you're just going out and killing people all the time. We told you that several years ago as well. When we first began giving these talks, because we had to convince our messenger to do it because he knew that it was time. We're saying that to all of you because it's time for all of you to take the next step in who you're meant to be. And so when we said that, we said what we wanted to do is just kind of help you move through your fear and doubt. We've been doing that for years. When we had him write the book on overcoming fear, it was to prepare you for this. And when we gave you the message, you were being prepared. It was because we wanted you to know that this was the most important time in your life to be alive. We put that out there yesterday because we wanted you to prepare for today. Because if you decide that you're going to become your best self, that you're going to love yourself, that you're going to prosper, that you're going to give yourself everything that you desire, you would change your world. And that's what we've said. And you can't figure out how we have given you all of these things in different times, but we've explained it before. You take time to understand who you are and to move along in your consciousness. We're not limited by linear time. So this is why we give you things decades ago that you would understand now, because you grow in your consciousness over time. We gave you another analogy. We love using these because we wanted you to think about a tree. And we talked about the tree being your world and that you each are the roots or the seeds of that. And then that grows over time. Your consciousness does that, and your collective consciousness does that as well. But you have roadblocks, and you're in a roadblock right now. And it's happening today. We said the United States would lead the way in this restructuring, and you can't explain why we would know this beforehand because we planned this on this new moon. And then today in the United States, there's a trial happening that we said you were going to see things that you've never seen before because you're uncovering old things that you wanted to correct within you and within your society because you're all the same. And what has gone on for eons is that you've made divisions real. You've made divisions in yourself real, so you couldn't experience the magnificence that you are because you accepted that from previous generations. We have said that you are moving through a generational shift, and these are old energies. We've told you that Roger has this memory that can go back to the ancient times, which is why he can see what the world could be. But he has his own, just like you, he has his own difficulties because he couldn't believe he had done this. He could not believe he had achieved this. We're saying this because each of you have something within you that you cannot believe that you could do, and we're telling you you can. And the work that we have given you will allow you to do that because we know that we've given you one philosophy, but you will each take that information because it's collective information and intelligence that you all have. You will take that and you will do something even greater. That's how your evolution, that's how your world evolves. You're looking at your world now, and it's so quite funny because you're kind of trying to figure out how did artificial intelligence happen? We told you several years ago that that would come about, but you could take control of it because the way that you take control of it is by deciding to reach the highest levels of understanding in your consciousness that you can. That's a vibrational highness. And then you put that into your artificial intelligence, and then you start figuring out more things, which is exactly what's happening now. And if you go back to our old recordings, you will see that we said that years ago. We're saying this because we wanted you to understand that it takes you a while to hear what we are saying, which is why you can go back to old recordings and see that we've told you things that would be happening at specific times, and you just takes a while for you to accept it. And that's why we talked about cognitive dissonance so much, because for 3 years we've been telling you everything that we have given you would give you the ability to heal your life, and it's so incredible, and you would be so happy. And then we had people do it, and then we had them talk about it. We have something on Roger's website, these people talking about how it changed their lives. And you can all listen to that and believe that's not possible. And then we said the only reason you didn't do it is because we didn't charge enough money. We were talking about this because this is a generational shift that many of you are moving through, including Roger. He couldn't figure out how could he charge enough for the information that's taken him 73 years of his life to put together to where he could be in the place where he's thriving and aging in reverse that you all could do if you decided to get hold of yourself. Now we're saying this because you all won't do it. You all won't do it because you'll stay stuck, which is where you've been for so long. And he's been stuck too, which is why today we said you can't do that anymore. But also, there's something else that's happening. Last time we told you he got called to do a talk in October at Gaia. So that was going to expose him everywhere. But guess what? Someone else exposed him again, and so now it's happening sooner. He's going to be on in June, so he will no longer be able to hide because he's going to be exposed to thousands of people across the world. And so he cannot keep this work at the rate that it is. And he knew that a long time ago. But all of you know that you have something, but you hold back a little bit. And so we're just encouraging you to make that shift because that's what your world needs now. What's going to happen for the rest of this year, you're going to see more things coming about, and they're going to be a little uncomfortable. However, if you're ahead of the game, meaning that you're working on yourself and becoming happy and prosperous and living the lives that you want to have, because you can all do that. It's just your willingness to do it or to stay with it, which is why we've said we've given you work that you can just stay with. We just haven't given you all of it because our messenger stopped as well. And so we told him now that all of this is opening up. Please put in everything. We want people to heal. We want them to prosper. We want them to understand everything, but we want your world better. See, because the more of you who elevate your consciousness and live the lives that you're supposed to have, because it's all of you just make different decisions about that because you think you're insignificant. You think that you don't matter. And that's never true because you're all these humans. All humans are the same. You just come into the world with different programming, but you have the tools, which is your consciousness, to elevate that. Over time, we're just going to say this because we said most of this in the last session. If you would listen to it from a year ago, you would hear it again. So we don't want to repeat that because we're going to answer more of your questions. But what we told you is that throughout civilizations, you change your societies when you up-level the information that is within each of you. There's no outside person who's coming in to change your life. It's you who decides to do that. There are no other people who are creating your world. It's you. And you look at your governments and your people who are leading things, they don't have any more power than what you decide to give them. And the power is energy. That's the main thing we wanted you to understand. But sometimes it's challenging because, see, you've been programmed for decades, for eons, as we've said, because certain individuals, we've talked about the women and people of color and all the different divisions that you've had for forever, they're supposed to be changed now. This is why we gave you our work is to change it so you can up level your society so you don't keep doing the things that you're doing now. And many of you think that you're not that important. And we just had our messenger look up something yesterday, and we would advise all of you to do that because you don't think that your emotions and what you're thinking and what you're feeling has any effect on your planet. And that's where you're wrong. And we've talked about that for so long, but now you're having scientists who are starting to see inklings of that and understanding. And if you study a little more of quantum mechanics, you would see that as well. But we want you to also understand there's a connection going on that is energetic. You're aligned with the universe, which we said, we put that out yesterday too, because we wanted you to understand it is not accidental that this particular movement, this particular new moon is so powerful because you're moving through things that you haven't done before. And so, but the purpose of it was to make things better, not worse. And so, but we knew many of you would be worried, not understanding what you were going through. But we're saying that you are here at the best time of your life, and you are here to offer something to your world, and it's within you. And the more of you who do that, you will see a very different world. You will start to, and we're saying this today because we want you to understand you're at a very critical place because there are things going on globally. We told you this is a global change, and you're going to see it everywhere. But at this moment, the more of you who decide to take that next step into understanding and loving who you are, you will uplift the energy of this planet, and you might stop the thing that's going on in Gaza. See, you could do it if you just shifted your energies. You don't have to go there. We've said this before too, with all the things that are happening in your world. It is only about you deciding that you are the most important person that exists and deciding to access what that is, love who you are, and bring that to your world. And that is what we have given you. And it works because we've proven it. The only reason it doesn't work is that you don't believe yourself. And that's a challenge for many of you. And so, but it's a gradual one that you each move through, which is what we wanted to demonstrate to you. And we've demonstrated it by showing you a being who has healed all of these things since birth. And we have given him the information to do that, and we're giving it to you. But we can't tell you that you could do it, and we can't tell you that you're going to have the same results because you have different evolutionary paths. But we are just telling you what is possible if you decide to figure out who you are and level up to the highest place where you could be in your life. And that's what we've given you. So now what we want to do is answer your questions because we can feel them, that you all have them, and wherever they might come from, we're going to answer as many as we can today because we've told Roger last time we were here, we said that we had him open up because he can't keep doing what he's been doing. We opened up 10 slots in the program where you could get all of this work for this ridiculous amount, and all of you look at that and say that's not possible. Even though you, again, the cognitive dissonance, you look at people who've done it, but you think, no, it's not me. Please give that up. It is you. You can accomplish so much. And that's why we're making the change because our being didn't was shocked at what he's been able to do with this, but he's going to give it to others because that's what you're all meant to do. And that's what we're doing now. So we will take all of your questions.
All right. The Q&A portion is now open, and the way that this works, click on the Q&A button in your Zoom controls, ask your question, and I will ask the question on your behalf. Ask Wilhelm, and Wilhelm will answer. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, hello, and you can put your question in the comments of the event. I'll periodically look through and select some questions if they come through, there.
Perfect. We want to interject right here. Thank you. We expanded to LinkedIn. We have another team that's helping us with all of this because we want to take this much further. Because people in LinkedIn, you guys are entrepreneurs. You're doing businesses, and and you have the greatest responsibility. But you took on a job that was probably a little scary because you're trying to do your own business in a sense, and then that's always a little complicated and it's always a little challenging. But we want you to understand you're doing the most important thing, and please keep going and don't give up because you're developing something that your world needs now. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. So yes, just want to encourage you once again, ask your questions. Can be any question. There is no stupid question, and you can ask all the questions that you want. This is why we're here. The first question coming in, dear Wilhelm, is it also possible to heal yourself of Uh, Dear Wilhelm, is it also possible to heal yourself as well as another person?
No, you can only heal yourself. And thank you for saying that. We don't know if there was more. We just have to jump in right here. See, because this is the difficulty that our being has. You eat, and many of you do that, and you, especially if you've come, if you're in the healing arts or you're doing something, your mission, you want to heal because that's a part of your being. That's the benevolent part of who you are. But you have to give the individual the chance to do that for themselves. All you can ever do is be the example. Our being is just being the example. He can't tell you what you can accomplish. He can just show you what he's done. And there are many things that you don't even believe that are possible that he has accomplished. And so that's what he's going to put out. But for you, you are going to demonstrate what you can accomplish. And then the person that you're trying to heal or fix or change, you can't do that. And this is what we want all of you to understand, because you're going to find people, especially during this time, that you're going to want to change. You're going to want them to understand who you are and make, no, you're supposed to understand who you are. That's your individual path. Move to that and be the example. That is all. Thank you.
Can you give me some clarity on not being attached to physical things while feeling worthy of those things? How can I simultaneously imagine and create passionately the physical things that I desire and not become attached to them?
It's energy again. And if, when you understand everything in the physical world is created through energy, as are you. So, and this is what we're talking about today, because this generational shift that we're moving through is one that many of you have carried lower vibrational ideas about who you are, and you've done that through your generations. You've done it forever, and you've put that into your world, which is why it looks the way that it does. We've said this over many of these talks. So now what you're meant to do is move beyond that, and that is about abundance, which is what we're talking about today. Abundance is energy, and you attract that. It doesn't matter what form it is. It could be money, it could be anything. It could be your relationships, it could be your career, whatever. If however you interpret abundance, that's what you're supposed to have. And it is about energy, and you have more of it when you take the next step into embodying your authentic self. Now, sometimes that can take a while. It took our being forever because he came in to bring something different. And so he couldn't demonstrate what he wanted to give to you unless he had lived his entire life demonstrating that it was effective. And so that's what you each will do in your own way when you develop the thing that is within you. And as you do that, you will have all the abundance. And what we're feeling from you is that you're having this kind of guilt about having abundance, because you think that somehow this really wonderful that somehow you wouldn't be this highly evolved spiritual person if you were abundant. And we've told all of you this is the time where many of you are supposed to do that, because you've allowed other people to have all the wealth in your world while you suffer and allow things to go on where you don't have the resources to make a difference. You see, this is why we've given you our work. So that was perfect. Thank you.
How do we move through the fear of transformation, growing into who we are, uh, many to be, and how challenging it is to break through those old patterns?
It's not challenging with us. That's what we've told you. We gave you a path, because see, the path is about, oh, let me look at this stuck place where I was. Now, then we give you a little exercise to do that changes your brain. And then you start to say, oh, wait a minute, that feels better. Now I understand. Now I've moved through that little thing. And see, we've given it to you in a sequential way, meaning that we know how your consciousness evolves. And so we gave you ways that it would happen and sequentially, and you would open up. And we've done, we've experienced, again, if you listen to any of the people who've already done this work, you will see they are the first person who says, I haven't done anything like this. And then they talk about how they moved through something that they could never move through. And it took them 35, that for 35 years, they couldn't move through that. And then we gave them the information that would help them do that. And we're saying this because we can say it. There's no, we're no longer holding this back, because you can all find this. You can just have to look at our work and you'll see that it's there. You can't explain how we gave you messages, each of you, on your birthdays in 2012. We did that. And when you read it, you say, wow, how did that happen? Because you're all connected. This is what we wanted you to understand now. And so that's the alignment that you're all coming into now. And so this this is so wonderful. Thank you for giving us this because it's going to open up so much more, and we'll do it in the next question.
Can you please help me remember slash find my desire and my path? I don't know. I don't think that I know myself.
Yes. Yeah, this is so wonderful. We can say this over and over again, and eventually it'll break through to some of you. Yes, we've given you a way to do that. And if you listen to the recordings, the testimonials, you will see that it works because they did it. It's about just understanding that you've attracted certain things into your life, beliefs, ideas that have been restricting and blocked your vision. And we give you ways that you open that up and then you see it, and then you start to become happy because that's what we wanted. We wanted all of you. And we haven't told you, our messenger has never told the complete story of everything that he's moved through. So it's been challenging for many of you to see what is possible. But he will be doing all of that so you will understand. So just understand that nothing is impossible. It's just that many of you just don't believe what you can do. And then you need to be shown, it needs to be demonstrated, which is why last time we talked about Roger Bannister. We'll keep bringing that up because we want you to understand it takes certain humans to demonstrate something to you before you can believe that you can do it. That's the cognitive dissonance that we talked about. And so we've said for the last 3 years, we've given you the work that could change your life. And it's so affordable. Anybody can do it. And you'll look at us and say, no, that's not possible because I haven't done it before. That's all we have to say on that. Thank you.
Recently, I have been laying my hands on parts of my body that hurt and taking a few deep breaths, then imagining energy flowing out of my hands and then to the spots uh, stop hurting as much or they stop hurting altogether. Am I imagining this or am I healing myself?
No, you're a healer. And so thank you so much for saying that. You're a healer. We don't know where you're going to take it, but you're discovering the power of energy and you're discovering the power of conductive energy because you just did it with your hands. And if you work with someone who's doing Reiki, they are doing that and they've developed it over time and they can access that because anything that's going on in your physical body is a blockage that is within your we love using the chi thing because if you think about different kinds of practices, this will make sense. But there's an energy blockage that is within you. And many of you have had your Kundalini experiences because that's the energy that flows through all of you. And as you move through that, you reach higher states of understanding and being. And so what you have discovered is this wonderful being. We don't know what you do or what you're going to do, but please keep experimenting with that. Our being, we're going to say this again because there's certain things many of you don't believe. He has suffered from cluster headaches. We've talked about this before. He suffered from cluster headaches for decades. It was debilitating. And people and the doctors, your medical society, people said there's no cure. You can look that up and they'll tell you no cure for it. Oh, here's some drugs you can take. We're saying there's a cure. He did it. And so what you're discovering is exactly what he did. The way that you change things by energy, and you're doing it in a wonderful way, placing your hands and conducting it, but you all conduct that energy with your thoughts. And it's about developing the mindfulness, the control to be able to do that. And so we just give you a pathway. We don't have your answers. We just have the way for you to get to who you're supposed to become. Thank you.
Thank you, Wilhelm. What is the best way to remove the block of ongoing hurdles as I'm on the path that feels like monumental change?
Did we plant you guys? Where did we get you people? This is so perfect. Well, this is what we've given you. You're at that place of monumental change. This is why we said we are unveiling your path. See, you're at the most opportune time that has existed in your planet. And this time, that's why we're doing it on this day. And the more of you who decide to take the next step, you're going to see how wonderful you become. And just to show you how well we plan this, if you were to go back to 2023 on our messages on any advice for today, you will see that we've also given you messages on every astrological movement that was going to happen in your world so that you could be prepared for them. You can't figure out how we did that, but we did. Every full moon, every new moon, every conjunction, we gave you something because you are all affected by those energies, and that's what you're moving through now. So This is going to be a wonderful time for you because you're aware that there's something coming up and you've just been afraid to take that next step. And we know that. That's why we've given you the work that we have in the way that we did so that we know what works. We know what, because the thing that happens, many of you will, we're going to say this because we see it all the time. You do all these other programs, you're trying to make all this money, you're trying to do all these things, and then you're not connected to who you are, which is why you're struggling. This is the time that you're supposed to connect with your authentic self, and then everything that you want starts flowing to you. And we can talk about this because our being couldn't do that. And now he's being called out, though, so it's going to change very quickly. So thank you. These are wonderful, we must say. Thank you.
Is the country where you're born in a part of your path and journey?
Absolutely. You wouldn't have been born there. You each, this is, thank you. You each are placed in certain place in specific places because that's where you would make the greatest difference. And sometimes you will look at them, you go, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be here. I feel like a foreigner in this country, and this is where my family came from. That means that you have something really wonderful that you're supposed to do in that specific place. None of you have been placed in accidental places. You didn't choose that because you chose the place that you were going to go. We know this concept is difficult for many, but we say you chose the life, you chose the place, you chose your parents, you chose all of that. So because you knew that it would help you discover who you are and live the best life if you take the ascension path on your journey, and you would make the biggest difference in your life, and then also you would contribute to your country of origin if you're still there, because that's why you were placed there. Thank you.
Dear Wilhelm, after years of health challenges, anxiety, exhaustion, and working on my healing, I now have the opportunity of starting a new training and join back to life, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Still shaky physically, and there are several options for training in some technology to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any advice on how to choose and embrace enormous change in my life while still not feeling well? Thank you so much.
You're in process. And so thank you for that. That's why we gave you the very first message. That's why we had Yarna read that message. You were being prepared. So you're on the road because you can feel the shifts that are happening. You're just not accepting it all yet and believing it. So don't worry. You're getting there. And you're going to help so many others because you're showing them, and you are given this to be able to demonstrate the path to healing. It's much like our being is done, but you're doing it in your way, and it's coming about now. And do not worry that you're not fully there because of this is just understand, because as you we're gonna okay we're just gonna we want this to make sense for you, okay, because our being has gone through every single health challenge and difficulty that none of you can imagine, and we've told him forever that that will heal as you become willing to take the next step into your authentic self. And every time you do it, you'll see physical healing. We're not saying this is going to happen for all of you, but we know that that is what you're on because we can feel it. And so we just want you to keep developing that thing that's in front of you. And you know you're supposed to do this new business. And as you do that, you're going to heal yourself, and you're going to demonstrate this to those who are going to come into your practice. And we're so happy that you're doing it because you're going to make a biggest difference in you're going to make a great difference in your world now. Thank you so much.
I've been with my partner for 16 years. I feel like we are no longer growing at the same pace. I catch myself now thinking, I really don't care for how he talks to other people or that he seems really judgmental. And I know it's because of the changes I've made personally. So I see everything differently now. I catch myself asking the question, do I really want to be with him? But I truly love him. I know others are dealing with this as I am now. Do you have guidance for processing this?
Yes, you said all the right words. You said we love you so much because you said, I know I love him. See, that's the thing you're supposed to hold on to. Loving him and being together is not, they're not the same thing. You can love him from a distance if he's served a purpose. Okay, we're going to explain this because this is we've said this. What we're putting into this program, which is why we're changing everything, is about relationships. Because yes, you will all be moving through this and we want you to understand it. And we're also putting in your building your career and your money and your financial stability and all of that. But for you, what's coming about is that you're awakening to the other aspects of who you are. And this person who served you for these 16 years did a really great job, but now you're seeing it's different because you've worked on yourself. That is your individual journey. You each have the sovereign journey that you're meant to take, and you use other people. We've given you this, and we said all relationships are for the purpose of causing you to become better, more, and evolve. And so, but then you go through these places where you discover and you have a lot of different things that you're working through right now, and we feel it because you think, wait a minute, I'm going to be judged if I leave, if I get a divorce, if I do all of that, it's going to look bad and I failed in some way. That you have to let go of that guilt first. You have to forgive yourself because you said the most important thing. You said you know you love him. That means that that is the part that was useful. But if it now, the next step would be that you're going to have a really honest conversation. And you can, then if you start out, I really love you, but I think we're moving in different directions now, and I've changed, and I want you to change and be happy because I do love you. But maybe we need to find a different solution, a situation, whatever that is. But you must confront that with love and honesty. And this is what we're saying to all of you during this time, because you're going to find relationships within your personal relationships, but also out in the world that you're going to judge, you're going to have some guilt about, and we just want you to let go of that and just remember the love and move to the highest version of who you're meant to become. Thank you so much.
Wilhelm, thank you for helping us. What is my mission for helping healing myself and my family?
Oh, it's right there. That's all of it. You said all the right stuff. Thank you for being here. You're supposed to help heal yourself and your family. And that means taking the steps into understanding who you are and your unique path and what you were meant to do. And as you do that, your family will be healed. It's not your responsibility to do that. You can't, but you can demonstrate that by deciding to take those steps yourself. See, this is why we said we called this talk today Unveiling Your Path, because your path is right in front of you, each of you. And you know it's there, but you've just been a little afraid. And so what we do is offer you encouragement. Everything we give you in our program is about causing you to become more alive and in love with yourself. That's all. And so you're doing that now. And just stay on the path, each of you. Uh, each of you are uncovering things. This is what if you go back to the messages that we've given you today and yesterday, actually, they were from, we incorporate things from years ago because we wanted you to understand how you come to awaken your consciousness, because you have to use linear time. We have given our being things over eons. We're saying that because we want you to understand it's been centuries that we've given him this, and he's going to have to talk about that pretty soon, because now in Gaia they want him to talk about Atlantis, so we're going to have to give him that information as well. We've given you all some of that, but just to understand that all of you are coming up to places now that you've never experienced and you've never gone through, and they can be a little frightening. We've told you that's that unknown that you're each unwilling to go into. We had it on the message for today. See, because it's you be, we're going to tell you a story because we've given it to you before. We wanted you to remember your birth because, see, you are moving through a birth right now. You're moving through a birth of your planet. That's all the information that we have given you. And so when you think about your physical birth, when you come into the physical world, it's scary at first. You've had 8, 9 months or however long you were in gestation feeling secure and safe. And then they yank you out and throw you out into the world and you start yelling and screaming. And then you can carry that behavior on throughout your life because the next place I'm supposed to go is a little scary and I'm not going to do that. That's what y'all do. Now, we're talking about this in this way because we wanted you to understand the energy. Because when you move through the blockages, that lower vibrational doubt and fear that you've been carrying, you find this new awakening. And that's what we want you to understand. And you're on that path now. And that's what's happening. Well, all of you are. And so we don't want, and again, like we said, we just didn't want you to be afraid. When you understand the sciences of how things change, it's you're moving through this, and we told you you would have to choose because it's a big split or shift that many of you look at it that way. We just said it's a big time for you to add more light to yourselves, and then everything becomes different. So that's how this change is going to come about. We'll give you more. Okay, let's do another question. Thank you.
I've often heard spiritual leaders advise to not wear black clothes frequently.
Mhm.
Is there a real reason to wear particular colors? I know colors are important for chakra energy, but is there another reason? And I
No,
ask because I wear a lot of black and I do use it when I don't want to stand out.
that's your path. That's your path. Listen, thank you for bringing that up, and we're so glad you did that because see, you're experiencing something so different than what everyone else has told you. And that's because you're being guided there. Your higher self said, no, we want you to do this. We want you to hide out in black for a little bit because maybe you'll get more in touch with who you are. Maybe that's for protect. It doesn't matter. There are no rules. And when we give you our work, we want you to let go of the rules. And that's been difficult for even for our messenger because he thinks he was supposed to give our work in this traditional way that all of you have done things. And we said, no, don't follow some path. You're here to create something new. And that's what you're going to do as well. And so we want you to own whatever your higher self is telling you. Now, when you get in touch with why you are wearing those colors, what you're doing, and what you've been protecting, if that's how it feels to you, when are you going to let it go? When are you going to start to become vibrant? When are you going to start to allow color into your life? Now, we're not, but whatever it is, we just want all of you to trust the innate gifts that are within you. And as we told you, we gave you a message just a while ago where we said you were supposed to be unique. You can't create a new world or if you're still following all the old patterns and ways of being, you see. And so you're creating something new, and we're thrilled about that. And now we'll see what comes about. Thank you.
Should I go to the doctor to get help with my stomach, or will I get better by myself?
You do both. You well, no. Let's just go back. Um, the way that you asked that question, our first answer is yes, go to the doctor. Now, we're saying this because many of you think, oh, and you do this even with our work. We've seen this before. Our messengers met with so many people. They said, oh, I understand this work now. I'm just going to do it all on my own. And then you do nothing. We understand that. And so when you're stuck in a place with something physical that you can't understand, you always need to get some sort of check, whatever kind of a medicine, whatever many of you use, whatever feels right for you. Get someone else to check and just to see. And then if you are not pleased with that, do work on yourself, but see what happens. But if you're still in the same place, you must get help. We told you one of our messages, we said, asking for help is not a sign of weakness because many of you think that you can do certain things on your own. I being did that as well for this so long, but sometimes you need outside intervention to break through a blockage that you have had. So if you're still feeling these things with your stomach or whatever it is, please go to a doctor and get it checked out. So, and our being has done this over and over again. We're going to say this because we're going to document all of this because we want you to understand what's possible. He has a doctor's appointment. We've used this before next week where he's going to have everything tested again because we want to have the results to show to all of you. Someone who's been through every imaginable illness and disease that any of you can think of, and now to be at 73 and be this healthy, we want you to understand what is possible when you take the steps in understanding who you are. But sometimes you might need some help. So please go to the doctor. You'll figure it out. If there's nothing there, then you know that it's this resistance that you've been holding about becoming who you're meant to be, and that's about taking the next step. Thank you.
Dear Wilhelm, thank you for your guidance. I feel like I am transforming, but the energy of abundance is something that I am on the cusp of manifesting. But I'm going through the motions of setting up the business foundation to create financial abundance, but have stopped at the point of monetizing my skills and services. I feel like I'm circling around this old pattern, but haven't been able to get to the other side of it.
Mhm. You're wonderful. We're glad that you're here now because see, you're talking about the same thing we've told our being. You've been working on something, you've been developing it for a long time and you see it and all that, but it just hasn't completely taken hold yet. That's all. And so we just want you to keep working on it and to keep doing it. And we told our being 2 years ago, please change the rates. But he's saying, I don't know. Should I do this? Because see, you all, many of you, not all, many of you will do this. He thinks that if he keeps, and we're going to talk about the consciousness that you have around abundance, and this is a collective consciousness that many of you are still are moving through now. And he thinks that if he keeps his rates really low, that maybe some of you will then do the work. And that's never going to happen. And we told you, said we knew that when we changed the rate to $5,000, many of you would start doing it because you've been used to suffering. We just have to tell you that's of times that we've given you this. You become comfortable. We've given you many messages on that. You become comfortable with where you are, and then you don't even know that you're stuck because you're allowing yourself to stay there. So we don't want you to judge yourself because we are saying you are on the right path, and we just want you to keep energetically owning who you are, loving who you are, and all of you. If you look at the message that we gave you tomorrow last year, we know that doesn't make sense, but just go to our site and look for the message on May 8th of 2023, and you will see what we mean. We've given you everything, and we're just going to keep saying that, and then eventually you start to hear it. But we wanted you to love yourself. And as you do that, then the energy of that abundance starts coming to you. But don't fret because you're creating something that was unknown to you. It's probably a little frightening that you're even doing it. It's probably a little surprising that after all this time that you could do this. You can. Thank you.
Just to let everybody know that we still have we have room for a few more questions. If you're on LinkedIn and you're watching this event, feel free to ask your question by putting it in the comment. Continuing the Q&A here. You keep referring to being your authentic self and that we came into this world with purpose. Both of those things seem to elude me, or I don't feel that there's any specific thing I should be doing. How does one find their purpose or discover their authentic self? Because it seems like there's a block to my finding it. Question is redundant because I've asked it before.
No, it's not because some of you just don't even see it. We've told you that you do our work and you find it. And we've given you so many examples of people who have done that. You can just listen to the testimonials. We haven't done all of them because there are many more now who have done it because all we do is just you have blockages. That's all. You have blockages in your evolutionary path that you move over at different times. And so what we mean is that you each come in, we've said this before and we love using it because you'll get the idea. You all come into the world a little broken. You have to, because otherwise there would be nothing to create. There would be nothing to do. There would be no higher place to go unless you were already broken somehow. And so we've just given you the ways, the means of putting yourselves back together so you understand who you are. And it's this constant progression. This is why we call it an ascension guide, because you're always moving to higher states of being in your consciousness of who you are. And also your world is doing the same thing, except too many people are resisting at this time, which is why we want to move things forward. But just understand, you are moving in the direction that is going to bring up, it's going to open up, and we just want you to just keep staying with it. So all of you, this is why we had Yarna read that very first message, and as you all listen to this again, you will hear that. You were being prepared, all of you. You are being prepared for this moment in your lives and in your world. And if you decide to take the next step, you will start to understand what you have and how you can develop. That's what we're saying. And as you read the messages that we gave you today and yesterday, you will understand we gave it to you over years. We put a little few messages in there because when you get the concept of how you operate as a human. You come in a physical form and you have different life paths that you're meant to follow. And then as you move through those, you start to heal and you become better and you become more. And then you add something to your world. And then the more of you who do that, you create a much better world and you have greater technology and more things that you're all creating. We just gave you a philosophy to use at this time in your evolution of your planet that you could all move to a higher level. And the more of you who do that, you live the these great lives, you're happy, you're making your contribution, and then you know that you're leaving a legacy to the world that's going to be better later, because you're leaving something that your generations, of whether your children or all those who come later, can use, so that they don't struggle the way that you're all doing now in many different ways. And then you have lived a great life, and that's what we wanted all of you to understand. Thank you.
Your messages are synchronized, but why do I feel so sad about not progressing out of just surviving rather than thriving?
Because it wasn't time until now. This is what we're saying to all of you. And this is why we keep bringing out our messenger, because he didn't do it either, and we're having him do it today. We told him, we've given you something that any person could change their lives and become happy, and he wasn't putting the kind of value on it that would make you understand that, because you each have become conditioned to the norms that you have become accustomed to in your own life, but also the norms of your society. We have said that this particular shift in your world is about wealth and income inequality. And the only way that can change is if more of you start to uh, um, receive the abundance that is within you. And again, that it's in whatever form that works for you, that causes you to feel good or become happy or to live the lives, it's all within you. And what we've done is giving you that path. So do not worry that you have not manifested, because now is the time you're supposed to do it. And we've said to all of you, we've given you something that anybody could afford if they choose to. We've done that. Now we're changing it though, because that didn't work before, because you place this value. Many of you take these programs. If I'm paying thousands of $1,000, I have to, finance over time, maybe it'll work. But we're saying, hey, wait a minute. Here's one where this person went through all of our stuff and is now completely happy and is going to make a contribution to the world. And his life is opening up. And then you can go in here and listen to others who have done the same thing, and then you'll look at it and go, no, that's not possible. We just want you to think about this. This is why we talk about cognitive dissonance. It's not a bad thing. It's just an understanding that you have limitations that you've placed on yourselves. And now is the time for all of you to start to move through that, so that you can create this much greater world. Because if more of you don't do this now, we're just saying this. It's not about fear. We're just telling you where the world is moving. And we've said this before. When you go back, we've given you everything. You just kind of hear it later. But we said the planets are going to continue to move. The disruption, the chaos, it's going to continue to come up, because it's cleansing, it's changing, it's restructuring. But the way that you move through it is by deciding to transcend it and becoming happy and becoming your best self. And that's what we're talking about. So you're in a great place. Thank you.
Okay, just want to let everybody know that we have all the questions that we're going to answer. Q&A is now closed. If you did not get a chance to ask your question, please bring the question to the next channeling session. But we are going to finish answering all the questions that came in, even if we do go a little bit over time. Next question here. Am I able to earn money on my craft? I honestly don't think it's very good, but I love playing with colors.
Yes. Okay. We have given you so many examples of so many beings who thought, I can't do this. This is something that I like. I don't know if I can have a living. We gave you one example several years ago where this one person said, I've been doing this particular thing all of my life, and my family did it too, but I never thought that I was going to make money from it. I never thought that this was going. Our being did that too. This is why he hid us for more than 20 years. It was never his intention to bring this work to you. He didn't know it was going to cause this healing. He didn't know that was going to happen. He was just developing it. That's all that was going on. And so what you're doing is developing something. That's all. And it's going to come about as you start continually taking the steps into understanding your unique path and your journey. And that's what's going to happen. So thank you. And again, you will understand that all we're ever doing is breaking down your resistance to becoming great, as we said in that first message. Thank you.
Dear Wilhelm, I have two different, seemingly conflicting messages in meditation when asking what I should do next. I often am told I'm often told to just continue to be.
Hmm.
You are doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Hmm.
However, I feel the need to move my energy into action and find the thing I am here to unlock. My only real challenge is having too many options to the point of distraction.
Hmm.
How do we know the one thing we are meant to focus on at this time?
When your life isn't working and you're not doing the thing that you love the most. We're saying this because that's what our being has done, you see. And this is why we're moving him today. Uh, Many of you, you don't understand that when you start unlocking who you are, it's a little uncomfortable because you don't believe it. It's something new. You haven't done it before, but that's what you are doing now. And we just want you to keep taking the steps because it's going to all come about and you're going to start to understand that the energies of the universe right now are moving in a way that is conducive for more of you to start to expand, for more of you to start to become brilliant and magnificent. That's what we said. That's where the planets are moving. You're not going to see that in your world, and you're not going to see it instantly within your life. But if you begin now, you will see that. And you were given something and that's why it just seems so ridiculous to you that this thing that I really enjoy, could that bring me money? And we told you that this our being, he gets an email out of the blue where he said he didn't ever want to do this work. Now they're going to fly him somewhere and pay him $5,000 to bring us there. That didn't make sense from something. So we want you to understand you just have not connected the importance to the thing that is in front of you that your higher self keeps telling you to do because you think it needs to be something else instead of developing what it is that you are seeing and what gives you the most joy. We want more of you to come back to joy because that's what your lives are supposed to be. Thank you.
Is there anything that you can tell us about quantum healing?
Well, okay, we have, but you don't believe us. Okay. There are energies that are okay. You develop a consciousness individually and also collectively. The reason that we mentioned Roger Bannister before is because he demonstrated that most humans thought was impossible. Then over time, more humans said, "Oh, this guy did it, so now I could probably do it too." And then people started doing it. That's what happens. And then we told you about Roger Burnley here healing his cluster headaches, where they said, no, that's not possible. And doctors will still tell him that's not possible. He said, well, yeah, but I did that. That's quantum healing. When you take the energies and the information, the collective energies, that infinite intelligence that we told you that you all have, and when you've worked with it enough and that you can affect it within your life so you understand what you're doing, yeah, you can create more things. You can create more healing. All of you can do that. That's the quantum healing because you're accessing the qualities, the energies of the universe that have always been there. You just access your portion whenever you happen to be living in your incarnation or your willingness to take those next steps. And sometimes it takes a while. All right, so we told you it took our being decades before he figured out the healing for this, but now he can give it to others, which is something that you will do as well. Thank you.
I found a huge foundational family pattern of rejection that was catalyzed by an old family member reaching out after more than 2 decades. I see the pattern, recognize it, but I am not sure how to heal through the blockages of this lower vibrational energy.
Mm. Just keep doing it. This is perfect. This is okay. Thank you for that because this is what you're going to see in your lives and in your world over the next several months. So we want you, don't judge yourself. Please just understand you are moving through energies and blockages. And we love that you said it was these decades because many of you have these generational patterns that you're moving through and they're all coming up now. That's why you're seeing them in your streets, in your country. You're seeing all of them. And so your job then is to decide that you're going to let go of the pain. And that's what many of you have. You have the pain. And sometimes you don't even understand why. You have this rejection because it's been ingrained within you. And so these people that come around, and even if you're family members, they will then trigger you in a sense for you to notice that rejection. But guess what? It's you rejecting yourself. That's what we want you all to come to. There's no one out there who's doing any of this. It's just you have been in the process of rejecting who you are. And we just want you to keep taking the steps and allow those others to help you as they bring up these generational patterns. And then you move through them. And then every day you feel a little bit better. Don't try to get there all at once. Just understand it's a process, and each day you'll be a little bit better. There's been so many sayings that you all have developed each day a little bit better. Yes, that is true. But what happens is you'll look at yourself in one particular place and you will start judging, wait a minute, I should be better. I should have healed this. I should have done that. Not necessarily. Because if they're generational patterns, which many of you are moving through now, it may take a little while. But just understand you can do it. We're showing, again, our being, we have taken him through every generational pattern within his life, except this very last one, which is the financial one. That's why we're talking about it today, because many of you will move through that. And he's not been the best example for all of you because we wanted you. He has this thing where he thinks he, again, can help all of you, and that's not going to happen. Many of you are doing that, but we want you to take the next step in the higher step of who you're meant to become. So don't worry, you're there now, and you will work through these patterns and you will start to blossom, and you're going to heal things that are not only going to help you, but so many others through your demonstration of what is possible. Thank you.
Just to speak into the room, we are at time. However, we do have 3 more questions to go. So if you cannot stay, we understand. You can catch this in the replay, but we do invite you to stay, keep your energy into the room as Wilhelm answers these last 3 questions. How do you trust your guidance when trust has been an issue for you?
That's why you have to jump over that. This is why we have given you so many things about jumping over that lack of trust, because that's the only thing that goes on. And so the only way you're going to trust it is by taking the steps. You're not going to know necessarily if this intuitive thing that I'm feeling, is this real or not? Usually it is, but you still have the doubt and the limitations that you've been carrying for so long. So what we would rather have you do is to take that intuition and then test it somehow, meaning step into the water. There's a reason that we've given you all those things about taking baby steps, because sometimes you don't know. But then you can have this wonderful experience where you start moving in a particular direction, and the energy, if it's aligned with your authentic self, magical things start to open up. And we've proven it and we've demonstrated it, and we know that all of you can do it. And that's where you are now. So just keep taking the steps. That's all. Thank you.
Why am I experiencing doubt and uncomfortable feelings when working in the Web3 space, which is potential and abundant, but challenged in life today?
It okay. We're not sure, but it may be that maybe you're trying to do something that you don't really love. We don't know because see, our being did that too. He doesn't like technology. He's not what you just said. He would like just run from that. That's not his thing. This is why he has other people who can do all of that. You each have something that you're meant to do. Now, if you're not having joy in doing all of this, maybe you're avoiding the real thing that you're wanting to do. We don't know, but we're just going to present this as an option. And so then if you find the other people who love doing those other things, if you're not finding joy in it, then let them do it. And then you develop that other thing that you're meant to do. That's what we're feeling most of, that you're trying to develop something, but you're forcing yourself to learn all of this other stuff that doesn't seem like maybe you want to do. Now, we know that you could learn all of that technology if you choose to, if you wanted to really be diligent about it and work on it. But the whole premise of your question is saying that's not what you want to do. So we're thinking that there's something else that you're avoiding, and you're doing all this other work that is frustrating you instead of figuring out a way to get someone else who could collaborate with you or do something a little bit different so that you can create the real thing that you're supposed to do. Thank you.
Okay, and we are at the final question here, and it is a long question. So everybody buckle up. Hello, Wilhelm. Please pardon the long question. I have a pattern of wanting to help people do things. I guess I'm a bit of a fixer, but when I help them with their projects and whatnot, I have this resentment come up and I feel upset with myself and the other person or people. I end up feeling frustrated because I would rather be using my time with my own creations, giving my own gifts, of which I feel like I haven't been giving enough energy into.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm in conflict with myself. I
Mhm.
do want to help. I feel it comes from a very pure place of intentions. I really, I really do want to help, especially if the need requires my unique skills. But then the resentment comes up. Frustration always comes up. I felt this even when working for previous employers. It's even gotten me fired once. When I sit down to work on my vision, I get caught up in my flow. I feel filled with life. I feel like I could do it forever. I know what it is I was put on this earth to do. I
Mhm.
feel it in my soul. I've accidentally stayed up till sunrise quite a few times and my getting lost in my own creative vision, and I'm making tangible and meaningful impacts on the lives of other people in my unique work. But when I work with my business partners and the teams, it feels like hot torture trying to use my creative aspects and energy for someone else's dreams. I use up so much of it, and I have none left for my own dream. And it feels impossible for me to do both when I need momentum to get into my flow. Sitting in the in between of these two worlds, I feel like I'm just spinning my wheels in frustration because I can't get anything done for either enterprise. And I know the team feels my apathy, my lack of caring, and my frustrations. And even that cracks my heart a bit. So after years of feeling very little movement on either space, I have decided that the best thing I need to do for everybody is to follow my feelings and to pursue putting my energy into my gifts, sharing my own vision with the world. But right now, I feel stuck in this business arrangement where if I leave, I feel like I would be abandoning, betraying, sabotaging my business partners and the team, and not just disappointing them, but perhaps even impacting their ability to continue and make money,
Mhm.
even though I no longer feel desire for for this anymore. So if I stay, I feel like I'm standing in the way of everyone's success, sabotaging all of us because I make no movement on my vision and I sit stagnant on what my team needs me to do. So I would practically be starting from scratch when I commit to my own business. And the thought of breaking it with my business partners, it break having a breakthrough with my business partners, that even that doesn't excite me. It just sounds like deeper commitment that I'd have to make with them, and I feel even more frustrated. I don't want to be chasing the promise of money or money by itself. And for the record, I deeply love my business partners and the team, and I don't want to do anything that hurts them, but it feels like what I want to do is incredibly selfish. Thank you for my Thank you for your patience with my long question. I would appreciate some cosmic perspective on this.
We gave it to you in 1989, and we're so glad you're coming around to it now, and that you're going to heal it all. And we gave our messenger that so long ago, and we said that isn't we said it's wise for you to recognize the benevolence of your being. See, because that's who you are. You just want to help. You said it, and you had all this stuff, and you're seeing these other people who are not following. That's because you're a visionary, and no one can understand the vision that you're seeing, and you're trying to force yourself into being into this stuck place, which is why we said all of you have to restructure yourselves, and you don't have to and you said so many brilliant things in there. You said you're holding things back. Yes, because when you're not honoring who you are, you're not allowing them to prosper. Now, we understand that you don't want to leave the team and all those other folks. So you have to have an honest and open conversation with them that this is no longer serving you in a fulfilling way. And you know that that energy is not going to help them. And there's something that you have to do that is going to be more fulfilling in the vision that you have because you've seen it and you've just been holding it back forever. But we want want you to develop it. And the first step of that is letting go of your guilt about making changes because you've been a person who wants to give to everyone as our being has done, and that doesn't always work. And it actually holds you all back in terms of consciousness, you see, because if you're thinking that you are the key that's going to help them all, then you can't help yourself. And the first thing that you all must do now is to decide that you are the most important person, that your vision, your life is, because it is. That's what you're meant to live. But everything else formed to bring you here now, to understand that, okay, now I'm going to take these steps and I'm going to start creating the next version of my life. We had our messenger right yesterday, we put it on social media. He goes, "This is my last retirement." See, because he's had so many other careers and businesses and partners and all sorts of things throughout his life. But now he knows that he has to take the next step because otherwise he's not helping you or himself if he doesn't move ahead. It is the same for you, but you just have to move through the guilt and all that stuff. But we are saying that you are in the perfect place. You just have to have the courage to have an honest conversation because you don't want to burn. We never want any of you to burn bridges because then you're saying, making yourselves wrong. That's why we read the first message, had Yarna read this first message to understand you are just being prepared for this time. And we want you to just take that energy and then say, you're going to orchestrate this. We want you to have a conversation in your head about the talk that you're going to have with all of them so that you can come to a collaborative way of creating a win-win situation for you all. We gave you that message last week as well. And you'll see all of this because you have the ability to be able to do that. But we're so happy that you're coming about and you wrote that. You are so brilliant and you have so much to create. That's why you wrote that incredibly long question, because you have all this information that you're just dying to put together and to help others. And now we want you to do that. And thank you so much for bringing that to our attention, because now we've tied it all together, because that's one of the messages that we gave you, which you will find from 1989, that we gave our being this idea because many of you create this friction within yourself and frustration and anger because you're not allowing yourself to be who you are. That's all. And we love you so much for bringing that question. Thank you.
And that completes the questions.
Thank you. And we want to thank you all for being here. And again, we want to say this because this is the day that we were making the changes that we've told you all about, because we have to move to a different level for all of you, because we know that if more of you do this work, you will lead these really great lives and that you will contribute to your world and you will see a very different world, hopefully by the end of this year, because that's what we're counting on if more of you decide to move. You have to understand this is a collective change, and it's the energetic quality that you each put into your lives and into your world that will cause that change to happen. And as we've said often, the world that you want to see is not guaranteed. It means that you have to decide to do something to manifest it within your life and within your world. And we love you all so much. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this channeling session. If you are not a member of this change as of yet, I do invite you to check out 4weeks to yourbestlife.com. That is the number 4weeks to yourbestlife.com, and invite you to watch the video that Wilhelm referred to. Yarna, I was told that you wanted to help close out the space with some wise words of wisdom.
Remember that everything you've been always looked for in the outside is within you. Thanks, Roch. Thanks, Dan. Good night, everyone from Germany.
I don't think we could end it any more beautifully. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you at the next channeling session.